All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. If you're coming on, please do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that share button, tag Lolly, Dolly, everybody, and let them know that your boy, Ramonepreston, my squad, we are live right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Today is Thursday, October the 20th, 2022. Thursday, October the 20th, and we're here live, real time, right here in the beautiful Buckhead community of Atlanta. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. If you're coming on, hit the like button, hit the share button. You can tag somebody. Maybe you need to text, tweet, inbox, DM, call somebody and tell them to join you today on the Ramonepreston Show. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm super excited. We are just two days away. We are just 2 days away from our last live free event that we're hosting for the year. Okay, I want you to hear me on that. I said we're just 2 days away, 2 days away from our last live free event for the year. And if you have not had an opportunity to RSVP for this last live public event that we're hosting for the year, I want you to RSVP today. We are in the process of making final preparations for this last event. This Saturday, October the 22nd, I'm taking 4 hours and I'm doing a deep dive into the concepts and the principles on holding companies and creative tax strategies. So if you've ever been interested in learning more about holding companies, if you are currently interested in learning about holding companies, if you have ever been or are currently interested in learning about creative tax strategies, I'm talking about just learning the creative ways you can minimize your tax liability and maximize your profitability. If you are interested in those two concepts and principles, this Saturday, October the 22nd, October the 22nd, 2 days from now, I'm going to be taking 4 hours and I'm doing a free business boot camp. It's going to be a 4-hour deep dive from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be teaching you principles and concepts and strategies on holding companies and creative tax strategies as well. So be sure to RSVP. You could go to ramonepreston.com/event if you would like to, or you can reach out to me today here while we're live on the show. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Ramonepreston Show. Today is Thursday, October the 20th, 2022. And I'm always delighted to have an opportunity to come to you on this show to share information with you. If you don't know, my name is Ramonepreston. I'm the host of the Ramonepreston Show. Every Monday through Friday, I show up on this show at 12 o'clock noon in the middle of our workday. And I show up to share information with you, to give you value, to give you the principles and the concepts and the strategies on how to properly start, properly structure, and properly scale your business and your income streams. So if you are a business owner, if you are thinking about becoming a business owner, or if you're just a financial breadwinner for the family and you want to be financially free, you want to create some success for your business, the principles that I teach, the information that I share, the value that I provide on this show, it can help assist you in that process. What qualifies me to share this information is that I've been an entrepreneur for almost 20 years, full time, and I have learned a whole lot of ins and outs when it comes to entrepreneurship. I started from nothing, and everything that I've created in my life, in my business, has come as a result of me learning, developing, experimenting, and experiencing all the ins and outs and ups and downs. And as a result of my success, I have taken those principles, those concepts, those strategies, those solutions, those experiences, and I put them in the form of online courses. I put them in the form of programs and services that I provide as a business and financial coach, consultant, and educator myself. And so when I come on this show and share information with you, this information ain't just coming from me copying and pasting something from Google or watching somebody else's YouTube videos and coming on here repurposing it. Now, of course, I do learn from other people. I read books, I study, I have a business mentor. I learn concepts and principles that wealthy people are using and major corporations are using. And that's one of the reasons why I put so much emphasis on concepts like the holding company and creative tax strategies. Because if you are planning on becoming an entrepreneur, or if you're an entrepreneur and you own a business, or you plan on owning a business, and you want to be financially free and you want to build a successful business, at some point, the things that I talk about every day on this show, you're going to have to learn. Like, you're going to have to learn about business systems. You're going to have to learn about processes. You're going to have to learn about wealth building concepts and vehicles like holding companies. You definitely got to learn about creative tax strategies. All these things you have to learn. You got to learn about sales and marketing and financial systems and operational systems. These are things that you're going to have to learn at some point. So either you're going to learn them from somebody like me, or you're going to just keep winging it, trying to figure it out yourself and have a lot of bumps and bruises along the way. Or you can just take the time to get the information from somebody like me and shorten your time. So today, I wanted to just share some things with you on decisions and commitments. This was a conversation that I just had this past Monday with our mentees who are in our coaching program. So I host a one-year coaching program year-round. At any time, people can join this coaching program. It's called a Millionaire Mentorship program, and it's a one-year coaching program. And what I do in this program is I take a full year to work with you, and I do that in different ways. I provide one-on-one coaching sessions for you. I provide weekly coaching calls. I provide access to my online business and financial courses. I provide access to my quarterly workshops to teach you the nuts and bolts of structures and systems and processes. And there's many other things that we provide in this one-year program. But one thing in particular that I provide consistently in this program is my weekly coaching calls. So every Monday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern, we join a private live Zoom, and I take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, sometimes 45 minutes or 20 minutes, depending on how the temperature of the room is. But every week I take time to teach certain principles, certain concepts. I provide certain strategies and solutions for things that are relating to the businesses that these individuals are building and running. And we do a Q&A, a live Q&A. And it just gives entrepreneurs and business owners a place to come on a weekly basis to really get refreshed and to get reset and to get refueled. So this past Monday, I was talking to my coaching clients and mentees about decisions and commitments and how important it is for you, no matter where you are in your business, no matter where you are in your finances. At a certain point, you have to make certain decisions, and those decisions have to lead you to certain commitments if, in fact, you want to be successful. Because it ain't nothing about business and financial success that's easy. It ain't nothing about business and financial success that's going to come without a lot of time, a lot of resources, money, a lot of education, and a lot of effort, and just a whole lot of massive action behind it. And so there are certain decisions that have to be made even before you start building your business, or even while you're in the process of building your business. There's certain decisions that have to be made, and those decisions have to be complemented with certain commitments. And I want to just share with you a few decisions and commitments that I talked to my mentees about this past Monday. And hopefully these decisions and commitments that I talk about today can help you make better decisions for yourself, better decisions for your business, better decisions for your financial future, better decisions for your success, better decisions for your legacy. Like here, I'm offering a free 4-hour boot camp this past Saturday. And I hear this all the time when people show up to some of my events. I hear this all the time. There's always somebody that shows up to my event and they say, man, it should be standing room only in this room. Now, there's many reasons why it ain't standing room only. The most important reason is because I didn't market it enough. I didn't get in front of enough people for people to know. So I don't blame that on other people. I take responsibility for that. But for a lot of the people who I do market my businesses to and give invitations to that don't accept it, for some of those types of people, it's probably because they haven't made certain decisions and commitments to their own business, to their own success, to their own financial freedom, to their own legacy. And so while we're having this discussion today, I want you to think about why your decisions are important and why the commitments that need to complement those decisions are even more important. You know, it's like you can decide, you can make a decision right now. Oh, okay, I'm gonna make a decision that I ain't gonna eat junk food no more. And I'm gonna go to bed early, and I'm gonna get up early, and I'm gonna work out every day. All of these are just decisions, right? Well, if you make those kind of decisions, those decisions need to be what? Complemented with commitments. So now my commitment is I've got to do certain things to make sure that I don't go against the decisions I made. So let's talk about a few decisions and commitments for your success. Okay, number one, when it comes to decisions, and you can write this down. If you have any questions that you want to ask, feel free to drop the questions in the comments. But number one, you have to, and this is the key word, decide. You have to decide what success is going to be worth. Okay? This is a decision that everybody has to make. Especially if you're thinking about becoming a millionaire and you want a successful business, you want to fire your boss and you want to be full-time and you want to create a legacy. All this jibber jabber we talk about all the time. All these dreams and fantasies and aspirations and ambitions we have. Everybody want to do great things. If you talk to anybody, or if I talk to you or you talk to me and we talk about our dreams and our fantasies, we going to talk each other to sleep, telling each other how we want to have a jet and how we want a yacht and how we want a vacation home and how we want to travel the world and we want to wear what we want to wear, drive what we want to drive, live what we want to live. We want to have enough money to do A, B, C, and D. We got all these dreams, all these desires, all these aspirations and ambitions. But the one thing we have to have is a decision. And you have to decide what success is going to be worth to you. Like, what is success going to be worth to you? See, there was a point in my life, and I'm still growing in these things, right? But at least I have some level of success to show that when I practice this, it actually works. If I was broke, if I was struggling, if I didn't have a pot to pee in or window to throw it out, I wouldn't even be talking about this stuff because I've yet to prove it. Okay, so there are a lot of people who talk about this in theory, but they can't live it in practice. So everything that I talk about, I'm living. So if I'm not living it, I'm really not going to talk about it unless I'm just fantasizing and dreaming, but I'm going to be 100 with you and tell you, hey, this is just a fantasy. This is just a dream. You know, I want a jet. Do I have a jet? No, I ain't nowhere near to get a jet right now, but at least I can dream and fantasize about it. But I'm not going to be talking to you about, you know, how you got to fuel your jet up and how you got to clean the wings and how you got to make sure that, you know, you're approved to do this and you got to have a hangar and all that. I ain't got that yet. All right. So I'm not talking about it other than just me dreaming and fantasizing about it. But when it comes to your success, you have to decide what success is going to be worth to you. So there was a time in my life that I think I gave up on my dreams. And I think we all go through this. Like, you know, the way I was raised and the way I came up in the hood, and I got into the streets and got into drugs and crime and just living crazy in my teenage years. You know, I did a lot of that stuff because I gave up on my childhood dreams. I gave up on those things that I always fantasized about, being rich and having money and being able to be comfortable. And my life went the wrong direction for a long time. And so once I got myself cleaned up and got my life together and started being a productive person on this planet again, sane and saved and sober, I realized that it was going to take a lot of work for me to get back to a place to where I could actually get in the game of success and start moving towards success. But one of the things I realized I needed to do was decide. And my decision had to be based on what success was going to be worth to me. Okay? So sometimes success will have to be worth your relationships with people who are unsuccessful. Sometimes success has to be worth you goofing off and, you know, hanging out every weekend, and when you get off work, you just goof off and hang out. That's what success has to be worth. So at a certain point, if you want to be financially free, if you want to have success in business, and you know this is a part of your destiny, you have to decide what success is going to be worth to you. What is it going to be worth? And so when I started counting up the costs and doing the math, I realized that success was going to have to be worth my leisure time. Success was going to have to be worth me hanging out with the guys and the boys and chilling every weekend. Success was going to have to be worth me not being present at all types of activities and events. Success was going to have to be worth my time, my energy, my effort, my free money. Success was going to have to be worth a lot. I was going to have to give up some good relationships. Success was going to have to be worth where I lived. I had to give up where I was living at. So when you start thinking about how much it costs for you to be successful, then you have to decide if it's worth it, and if it is worth it, what is it worth? All right? This is the decision that you have to make. Okay? This is the decision you have to make. When it comes to you deciding what success is going to be worth, you cannot come into success with a maybe. You can't come into success with a maybe. So there can be no questions about the price you're not just willing to pay, but the price you gotta pay in order to be successful. And here's another point that's even more important. You gotta have the right definition for success. Because a whole lot of people, they ain't even got the right definition for success. They all around here talking about, well, I want to be successful. And then you ask them, so what's your definition of success? Well, you know, success ain't all about money, dog. You know, success ain't all about me having cars and blah, blah, blah. Success is just about me being at peace. Well, you ain't got to have money to be at peace in terms of you just being somewhere where ain't nobody getting on your nerves. You got to have a quantifiable mathematical measure for success. Okay? You got to start associating success with a financial, with a numerical, with a dollar amount scoreboard. Okay? You got to start associating success to that. So when you're talking about success, you can't just be talking about, oh, well, I just want to have a peace of mind, and I just want to be happy, and I just want to be able to, just chill on the weekends. All this other stuff we define and describe success as. No, you need to associate success with a dollar amount. So now, if I associate success with a dollar amount, so let's say if my dollar amount is $1 billion or 100 million, or your dollar amount can be 10 million, or your dollar amount can be 1 million, whatever your dollar amount is, it has to be a dollar amount so that you can decide this dollar amount is worth you going all the way for. When you don't have a dollar amount associated to success, this is what you're going to have right here. That's what you're going to have right there. Let me say it again. When you ain't got a dollar amount associated to your definition of success, you will not be able to make a clear, convicted decision that it's worth it, because you don't know what it's worth. But if I know my success is 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion, and I know that level of success will give me the opportunity to experience the things that I want to experience in my life, for myself, for my family, for my church, for my community, and for the world. Now it's easier for me to make a decision because I know that decision is worth it because I got a dollar amount. You catch that? So that dollar amount is very important for you to have. Now, don't listen to people who say, oh, it ain't all about money. Who said it was? Who said it was? I didn't say it was all about money. I said success just needs to be associated to a dollar amount. So when you make a decision, you know what that decision is worth because you've quantified the decision. You've quantified the decision. When you make decisions and you ain't got no dollar amount associated to that decision, it ain't worth it. It's like you going to fill out an application to work on a job. Let's say if you wanted to go get a job and then you filled the application out. And then when you fill the application out, what's the first thing come to your mind? What's the first thing you think about? Man, how much they pay? That's the first thing you think about. And when you find out how much a job pays, that determines if you're going to decide to work for that job. Because if they're not paying enough, it ain't worth your decision because of the money. Well, you got to do success the same way. You got to treat success the same way. You got to look at success as something you want to accomplish, something you want to achieve, but the way you're going to accomplish it and achieve it, or what incentivizes you to accomplish and achieve it, is the dollar amount that you've associated to it. It ain't nothing wrong with that, especially if you come out of the church or the community of faith. A lot of times religion and traditional faith views, they discourage you from associating money to success or a dollar amount so that you can keep score. But what happens is when you're discouraged to do that, then you're discouraged to make a decision, and you never know what the worth is because you don't have anything to associate it to. So you want to do that because, again, when it comes to your success, don't come into pursuing success with a question mark. Don't do that. Now, why don't you want to do that? I'm going to give you a good reason why, okay? And I want you to write this down. This is why you don't want to question success. You want to associate it with money because uncertainty, this is a bar. I want you to write this down. Uncertainty breeds failure. That's it. Write it down. I'm giving you the game right here. You're in a class, 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a Thursday. I'm schooling you. I'm giving you a class right now. I said uncertainty. Uncertainty breeds failure. Uncertainty breeds failure. So when I don't have a clear definition of success and I don't associate success with a dollar amount, it disables me from making a decision to be successful because I don't know what my decision is worth. My decision needs to have a dollar amount to it, so I know what my decision is worth. No different than when I work on a job. If I want to work on a job, my decision to work on that job is going to have a lot to do with how much am I getting paid. That's how all of us think. So success has to be the same way. And when I have a dollar amount associated to success, I know I want to have $1 million. I know I want to have 10 or 20 or whatever it is. And I make a decision that it's worth me giving up friends, giving up geographic locations, giving up my time, my energy, my money, my effort, whatever it is for me to give up. It's worth it because I know my decision to be successful is worth me giving that up because I know what my reward is going to be. It removes uncertainty. And when you don't have that, what's going to happen is you're going to be uncertain and it's going to breed failure. People who are uncertain are certain to fail. It's just simple as that. People who are uncertain are certain to fail. People who are uncertain are certain to fail. Like sometimes when I talk to entrepreneurs, whether I'm coaching them or whether I'm educating them or whether I'm just having a random conversation with them, when I talk to them and they start talking about why they ain't marketing their business, why they ain't selling nothing, why they ain't building relationships, why they ain't spending money to get in the right rooms and all that, I realize that it is because they don't have the certainty they need in order to spend that money, in order to get in those rooms. Like for example, you can see something that you want to buy, right? But you're just not certain if you're going to use it. You're not certain if it's going to work for you. It's going to affect how you move forward. A lot of times you won't purchase something because you're not certain about it or you're not certain about yourself. You may think that's going to work, but you won't buy it because you're not certain that you're even going to use it, because uncertainty breeds failure. All right? So that's the first decision. All right? What is another decision? Well, another decision is you got to decide, you have to decide what the payoff needs to be. You got to decide that. You got to decide what the payoff needs to be. So you got to do the math on your own success. You got to do the math on your business. You got to do the math on your financial freedom. You got to do the math on this stuff. You have to decide that. So you can't expect somebody else to make that decision for you. Let me simplify this point here. You have to get a dollar amount in your head that you want to have in your life. You got to get that dollar amount. How much money do you want? Because that dollar amount is going to be your payoff. And you have to decide what the payoff needs to be. Nobody else can make that decision for you. You got to be able to do the math. Because, for example, if you say to yourself, you know what, I want to be a millionaire. I want $1 million just sitting in the bank. I want $1 million of cash. I want to make a cold $1 million and I want to have $1 million in the bank. All right. Okay. Well, you've decided what the payoff needs to be. But now when you see that, now it starts triggering your brain on what you need to do in order to get there. What you need to give up. Like what decisions or what adjustments have to be made because of this decision. If I decide that my payoff is $1 million or 10 million or 100 million, now I got to start moving my mind towards what do I need to do to start moving towards that $1 million. Now I got to change my habits. I got to get more disciplined. I got to learn more, because if I don't have $1 million now, that means I don't have $1 million worth of information. That means I don't have $1 million worth of ideas. That means I don't have $1 million worth of relationships. That means I don't have $1 million worth of effort. That means I'm not putting $1 million worth of time and resources and money behind me getting to $1 million. So now I got to switch everything up. So when you decide what your payoff needs to be and you put that dollar amount on paper or in your head, what happens is you are then able to start moving your mind towards what things you need to do. Like, for example, if you say you want to be a millionaire, or I want to make $1 million in a year. Okay, now it makes you look at what you're doing. Like, what kind of business you got? Is your business $1 million? Can it be $1 million business? Or do you need to pivot? Is what you're doing in your business good enough for you to make $1 million a year? Do you have to switch up the business? Do you have to move into a new business? Do you have to hire people to make $1 million? Do you have to market yourself more? Do you have to come up with better products and services? Do you need to change? What do you need to adjust about yourself? All these things happen when you make the decision of what your payoff needs to be, okay? Now, when you do that, your decisions, I told you, need to be complemented by your commitments. Your commitment is really your action. Remember that, commitment. Write that down, commitment is tied to action. My God, I wish people can understand that. I hate when people tell me, oh, I'm committed. No, you ain't. What you mean I ain't committed? Because I can look at your actions and tell if you committed. I'm committed to this. I'm committed to that. I'm committed to this. I'm committed to that. No, you ain't. Because if your actions don't look like your commitment, you ain't committed. You just talking. You just running your mouth. You just crossing your fingers, hoping something happens. Commitment is tied to action. Commitment is tied to action. Nobody can say, I am committed if they don't have action. It just don't happen. Like, it's just no way. Commitment is action. Commitment is action. So if I say I'm committed to showing up on this show and I never show up, I'm not committed. If I say I'm committed to helping you and I don't, I ain't committed. If I say I'm committed to doing better, being better, educating myself, learning, growing, and I do none of the above, my commitment is tied to my action. My commitment is tied to my action. So you have to be I want you to write that down. You have to be committed to the action. You have to be committed to the action your success demands. Because again, whether you are committed to $1 million, whether you're committed to 10 million, whether you're committed to 100 million, whether you're committed to 1 billion, I'm just showing you these are just general metrics. I'll put $100,000, 100K. Let's just put 100,000. So this is 6 figures. This is 6 figures. This is 7 figures. This is 8. This is 9. This is 10. So I'm just going to give you an example right here. Okay. So you have to be committed to the action. So once you, let's go back to the decisions. Once you decide that what success is worth to you, and once you decide how big your payoff is and what the financial payoff needs to be in order for you to stay involved in the game, now you got to get committed to the action. So let's say if you're committed to making 6 figures, okay, there's a certain action that has to be taken to get you to 6 figures, period. So that means you got to take action on educating yourself to become a six-figure earner. Whatever you got to learn to look at the people who make six figures. What are they doing? What do they know? What are their actions? What does their life look like? Okay, you want to be a millionaire. You want to make seven figures. Are you committed to seven-figure actions? All you got to do is look at what millionaires are doing. How are they operating? What decisions do they make? What are their behavior patterns? What are their habits? What things do they not do? What type of people are they around? You want to make 10 million. You want to make 100 million and billion. So like I'm studying people way up here and I realize it's a lot of things that I do. And I probably say this to myself probably 25, 30 times a week. I probably say this to myself 25 to 30 times a week. I say to myself all the time, Ramon, you are not doing what billionaires do. You ain't moving like billionaires move. You ain't operating like these Billies. The people who killing Billies are doing things different than you. And one of the biggest things that I know I'm not doing that people way up here in these 8, 9, 10 figures are doing is I'm not putting enough money behind the thing I claim to be committed to. I'm not putting enough money behind it. I've been telling my staff that for the past couple weeks. I've been telling them that I'm leaning in more to put more money behind my business, put more money behind my products and my services, to put more money behind my staff, to put more money behind my marketing and my sales, because everybody that's up here that I study, even the people who are at the 100 million and $10 million level, especially the 100 million, people who are 9 figures and up, because there are even people who are making 8 figures who still think small, especially people who make 7 figures. There are a whole lot of 7-figure millionaires who think small. They just think like a $50,000 a year earner. But the people up here in the 9 and 10 figures, they move different. They dump a whole lot of money behind business. They assets over liabilities. They build infrastructures, massive. They implement the most creative strategies to keep their businesses running. They do all this crazy stuff. So again, you got to be committed to the action. And the action needs to reflect the level of financial success you want to have, okay? And then that brings me to the next. That brings me to my last commitment, okay? You got to be committed. I'm going to use the proper terminology. You have to be. Say what? Say what now? What y'all saying in there? You have to be committed. You got to be committed. You got to be committed. This is my last point. To making, managing, and multiplying everything in your life. Your money, yourself, your business, your sales, your marketing, your systems, your processes. You got to be committed to making. That means you got to be committed to just getting started. You got to make moves. You got to make these efforts towards getting your business set up the right way, getting your products and services packaged the right way, getting them into the marketplace, getting your systems in place and your processes, getting the right people to help you and to support you. And then once you start making these things, you got to manage these things. So now you got to be committed for a long time. You can't just think, oh, in 6 months, I'm going to just click a button and everything is going to be automated. It don't work like that. oh, I'm gonna just bring 5 or 6 people in and they just gonna do everything for me. It don't work like that. So you got to be committed to making, managing, and then once you get it to where it's actually working and making sense, you can start multiplying. And this is very, very hard. I still work on this every day. It's not easy, but when you have the right information and you have the right reinforcement, it makes it easier for you to maintain the integrity of that commitment. So again, I want to really give you an opportunity to get this information, get the education, and get the training. This Saturday, 2 days from now, I'm hosting an event 2 days from now. It's going to be a 4-hour business boot camp, okay? And this 4-hour boot camp, it's a 4-hour boot camp that I'm hosting. And this boot camp is on 2 of the most important concepts and principles that you will ever learn as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, okay? It's gonna be on holding companies, and it's gonna be on creative tax strategies, okay? That's what this 4-hour boot camp is gonna be on. This is a free, by the way, free 4-hour boot camp this Saturday from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. I'm going to take 4 hours and I'm going to be teaching you concepts and principles, solutions for starting and structuring your holding companies, creative tax strategies, ways that you can minimize your taxes and maximize your deductions. And these are the things that you have to learn if you plan on creating wealth for you and for your family, especially if you're going to be using business systems to do it. You have to learn these concepts and these principles. And so I want to take 4 hours and spend them with you to teach you these things so that you could take the last few months of this year and really put a successful business enterprise together so that you can continue to crush it this year and definitely crush it for the remainder of 2022. And so if you would like to RSVP for this free event, all you have to do is text the word special. Okay, you could text this word right here, special, to 404-478-7213. Text the word special. In addition to my 4-hour boot camp, for the past 2 weeks, I have been offering 2 of my signature courses, one on holding companies and the other one on creative tax strategies. I've been offering those 2 courses at a low discount for $197. And the reason why I've offered these 2 courses that I have on this on these subjects for $197 is really because I wanted to give you an opportunity to prepare for the free 4-hour event so that even before you get to the event, you can start training and educating yourself. I've got hundreds of videos on holding companies, how to start, how to structure a holding company. This one course alone will teach you how to properly file and form your paperwork. I have the documents and the forms in there. I have operating agreements, asset transfer agreements, consulting agreements, lease agreements in there. These are all documents that are already pre-drafted that I'm giving you access to. I show you how to file and form the paperwork for your EIN and your articles of organization. I have walkthrough video tutorials because when you're starting a holding company, even though it's an LLC, most times, sometimes the language needs to be either in your operating agreement or, depending on what state you're in, they have categories for holding companies when you're filing your article. So I show you how to go through that process. It's a do-it-yourself startup kit that comes with this course. But then this course alone on holding companies, I teach you everything I know about holding companies, literally everything I know about holding companies, how to manage them, how to make money through them, how to use them to position yourself as an expert in the marketplace. Like, there's so many concepts and principles and strategies that I show you for holding companies, how to build it out for investments and how to layer your divisions and your subsidiaries, and how to go through the process of taking other assets like your intellectual property, your copyrights, your trademarks, your patents, or your proprietary systems and processes, and how do you use them as assets under your holding company. This second course is a course on creative tax strategies. So I show you all of these very creative strategies that I personally use, and I know a lot of people that I work with use, because the goal is for you to lower your tax liability and maximize your profitability. And in order for you to do that, you have to learn creative tax strategies. But the basis of your creative tax strategies is really you getting better at the basics of business accounting. You learning QuickBooks, you learning how to utilize QuickBooks so that you can track your income and expenses. You can gauge what your free cash flow is. You can forecast into the future. These things, as a small business owner, you gotta learn these things if you plan on playing this game. It's just as simple as that. If you want to stay small, stay under the radar, you don't really want a whole lot of that money thing, well, this don't work for you. But if you want to take massive actions, create massive wealth for yourself, you got to learn many things, but among those things, you got to learn these two things. So again, I'm going to be talking about this 4 hours Saturday for free at this boot camp, but I'm also giving you access to these two courses only now, because when Saturday comes, that offer is going to end, and I'll give you access to these two courses for $197. All you have to do is text special to 404-478-7213. All right, we got 2 days left. We'll be back here tomorrow, 12 o'clock noon, for our last live show of the week. And then we'll be prepping up for our free event this Saturday, which is going to be awesome. We've gotten so many people to RSVP. Hopefully, many of them will show up in person and virtually. We give you two options, however you want to show up. We have an amazing workbook that we're going to be passing out. It's free, and we're going to do a lot of deep diving. We're going to do a lot of Q&A, and there's going to be a lot of interactive activities and things that you're going to be doing to participate in the boot camp so that you can learn these concepts and these principles. So again, if you have any questions, or if you need some more information, even for the free offer that I'm giving you for the boot camp, or for the $197 offer for the two courses, just text special to 404-478-7213. Love you. Appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow, 12 o'clock noon, same place, same time, right here on the Ramonepreston.